Well, thank you. You too. Anyway, thanks. Yeah, no, they're out there somewhere. They're on TV land. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. This is they call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with the guitar, and they call me on the phone. They say, "Hey man, what's your show about?" I say, "Oh, it's about an hour about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic." So once again, it's the this is the last Tuesday of June, man. Yeah, July. See, I'm behind time. I'm behind the time. Okay, so the last Tuesday of every month, we do a live cable cast from Uptown Bill's Coffee House. Yeah, don't call. I don't think we're actually going to put the Twitter up on the screen now instead of the phone number because nobody calls anymore. This is there's not even the 2000s. This is the 2010s. This is a 2016. I mean, it'll be 2020 before you know it. And never mind. Okay, so anyway, this is my show about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic, guitarrones and guitars and things like that. And we're going live from Uptown Bill's Coffee House. So if you are watching this at home on Tuesday, not on Friday when we have the rerun, but on Tuesday, this is live TV. You can come down to Uptown Bill's and you can be part of the cast of thousands, the studio audience here. I'm glad you're here, buddy. You'll probably leave soon, but stay as long as you can, okay? But anyway, so yeah, this is my show about guitars and guitar playing. So I brought this Breed Love here, all mahogany made in Bend, Oregon by old hippies. That's what they say on the website. Yeah. That's right, there are no young hippies. They're neo-hippies, but who are they trying to kid? Anyway, so a lot of what we're doing today, though, is trying to figure out how to make the sound and the lights and everything look better from Uptown Bill's, because I think a big part of public access is giving access to the public for performance space. And, so we partnered with Uptown Bill's, which is actually directly over the PATV studio. Yeah, you should say that in the microphone so everybody can hear you. If you're gonna, hey. So anyway, you must be the next performer. So, yeah, this is a live TV show at the moment, believe it or not.
Anyway, that was at the corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette.
Okay, I wonder if your mic's on. I hope so. Anyway, should be. So, anyway, yeah, this is Uptown Bill's Coffee House. So if you want to come down, there'll be a show later. Maybe I can get the next performer to come on some point and state her case as why you should come down and hear her. But for the next hour or so, you're stuck with me. So here we go. Thank you. All of you. So like I've been saying, this is Tom's Guitar Show, and just lost 33% of the audience, but or 25% of the audience. So this is TV. This will be on YouTube forever, man. So I can hardly wait till he turns off that sink, don't you? That faucet, don't you?
I doubt the mics are picking it up.
Oh, okay. Well, it's all right. It's better than the compressor in the refrigerator up here. That's trying to get everything right. You know, it's not easy. So, Uptown Bills is kind of an interesting place. They have open mics and things, and they have performers come around from sometimes national touring acts, and sometimes people just getting started. So there's a pretty nice stage here. What we're trying to do is make sure that it's really easy to cable cast, you know, to the local cable station, or, you know, live stream on the net, or the World Wide Web.
See the new sign up, they have their own broadcast radio station.
Yeah, I don't know if they've, there's a radio
Is
station.
that up and running, Tom?
Yeah. He can't hear you over the scullery.
Is your radio station up and running? No. Oh,
Yeah.
we saw the sign.
December. So, by the way, if you're bartending, at some point I forgot to get my bottle of water. So whenever you're around, you know, I take my, whenever, I'll pay you for it. But I can't mention how much it costs because that's against the guidelines. So I'll just, you know, but he has German water, and so for the PATV guidelines. Okay, all right. This is boring banter. That's right. We can't hear what he's saying. That's why we put the microphone over there on Bob. Maybe you can like relay if we have to. So anyway, my plan was to restring this guitar. I know that people watch my show. People watch it online in different places. People have watched it in Turkey and China. We start talking about stuff. I talk about how my strings don't seem to have lasted very long because of the humidity.
That's a relatively new guitar, isn't it?
Relatively new, yeah. It was last winter, I think, I went through a real breedlove thing, and I sold a bunch of stuff, and I nearly bankrupted myself, did everything I could. Bought 3 breedloves. This is the largest of the 3. And I was thinking about bringing the smallest of the 3. But I plugged this one in and thought, wow, I want to play this. like that guitar. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, all of you. Yes, thank you. So, this is a Breedlove. I think it's called an Auditorium. It's the second largest of their guitars. So I got the little one. I almost brought that one, the little parlor size. It's really nice. Some people think that parlor size guitars are like kids' guitars or something, but that's what they used to look like in the old days, and they have a really nice immediate sound. This one's got a little bit more, got a bigger box to resonate in. See, Bob, I might have gotten a guitar or two, since I saw you last.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, right. Well, I have a problem with that.
Yes.
It's called
Gas.
guitar acquisition syndrome. So I've been, for several weeks, I've been going through this sort of phase when I was looking. Well, it's kind of boring. A few weeks ago, I brought that Lamborghini yellow Flying V, and it's a DBZ. Now, DBZ as such doesn't exist anymore. So the company is dead. So I have this bright yellow V-shaped electric guitar. Midlife crisis, which means I live to be 118. Anyway, but.
Oh, no, you didn't just buy that, though. You've had it a while.
I've had it for a while.
Where were you when you bought that?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was a new thing once, some years ago. Anyway, so
Once upon a time, even you were young.
that's right. And so I was going to take it to the show, and bring that to the show. So I take it because it was downstairs, but it's at Tom's Guitar Show. But I looked up online to see what it was called because it's not a Flying V. The Flying V is a Gibson, and it's sort of a takeoff on the Gibson. It's not a copy, but a takeoff on the.
Flying V is probably trademark, right?
Yeah. So what was it called? So I looked it up online. I said DBZ guitars. And so I clicked on it and looked at the pictures, and I found out it was a caballo. I wanted to make sure I was pronouncing it properly, so I asked.
Which is a Spanish horse.
Yeah, it's a horse. It's a Spanish horse. It's horse in Spanish. So it could be an Irish horse, but
Or an Arabian,
or whatever. But if they're speaking Spanish, they just call it caballo. So I had to make sure the pronunciation was correct. So I asked Gerardo, our executive director, who's
our official Spanish speaker.
Yeah, he speaks Spanish. So among other things, he does many things. But one of the things he can do is speak Spanish. So, and I said yeah, caballo. But while I was looking it up, I saw a bunch of Diamond guitars, DBZ Diamond, and then Diamond. I realized that some of the newer DBZs I got were called DBZ Diamonds, because Dean B. Zielinski, DBZ, but Dean left the company, and then things started changing rapidly, so anyway, I saw one that just blew my mind, man. Don't mind if I talk like a hippie. And it was I'll bring it on the show next week probably. I mean, I've been playing it at home a lot. So it's an Imperial, and I have an Imperial, a DBZ Imperial. I have a Diamond Imperial now. It's a hollow body, semi-hollow. It's got the F-holes, on it like a cello does. And it has Seymour Duncan pickups. Other than that, it's the same shape as the DBZ DBZ Imperial. But this is a Diamond Imperial. And it just blew my mind. So anyway, I couldn't get it through the guitar shop because the Diamond guitars is not functioning properly at all. But Amazon had two. And not only that, but they had this thing where you could, if you got the Amazon charge card, if you pay, this is a problem. You could pay it off in 12 months. There's no interest. So I got it. I had to go through my wife, which I usually try to hide this from her, but she never watches the show. So I can tell you about my new guitars because I know she never watches the show. And she used to watch it, but she can't
Now she
watch.
thinks she's seen it.
She's seen enough, yeah. So, okay. So when I went back to the guitar shop, to the guy who couldn't get one, because he called the guy up, and the guy was like really annoyed. He called him, said, "Can you send him 2 emails, and then call them up?" I said, "I don't have any guitars. So maybe in a couple of months." I said, "Yeah, right." So anyway, there were only 2 available anywhere through Amazon in some warehouse in Muncie, Indiana. And I Googled the warehouse. It looks pretty disreputable, but World Music Supply. Anyway, so I got one. Yeah, there's only one available now out there, and it's great. But when I went back to the guitar shop to tell the guy about it, I happened to know that there was a Telecaster, Fender Telecaster. And
You probably need one of those, don't you?
I only had 7. I thought I had 8, but I sold one. So now I have 8. And So but this one's different from the other ones. See, that's why. Anyway, so this one is actually American. It's American standards. It's made in Corona, California, and the guy who had it never played it. But what he did was he bought the American Elite, which I've been interested in. That's kind of a burnt orange color one they have at West Music. It's a great guitar, but this guy had one of those, but he didn't like the noiseless pickups, so he took the pickups off of the one that I have and put them on the American Elite, which is a $1,700 guitar, and he put them on the one that I got, which is like $1,250 new. So it has the noiseless, this fourth generation noiseless pickups on it, and it's you know, so it's like a $1,250 guitar with pickups off the $1,700 one, and or $1,800, I guess. $1,799.99.
You see one of Clapton's guitars got auctioned here the other day?
Yeah.
He donated it to a leukemia charity,
Yeah.
and it's not rare. It's a Fender. It's like a 2014 Fender.
Oh, really?
Yeah, got like $30,000 for it. The charity did.
Wow. I got like a 2015 Telecaster for $800 or $799, $795.
Well, that's not going to leukemia though, which is
No,
I'm sure that's why it brought that much money.
It's going into the coffers of the little
Like I
guitar
said,
shop.
There was nothing rare about the guitar, a 2-year-old guitar.
Yeah. Well,
But Clapton played it somewhere, so.
people ask me about that because sometimes they get a guitar. There's a guitar floating around that was signed by somebody in some band that I hadn't heard of, but it's kind of a thrashing kind of band.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to cause this guitar to have a lot more value. And I thought,
If
well,
you're a fan of that band, maybe.
yeah. But even if I had a guitar that Eric Clapton played, I would sell it right away for a lot of money, and then I would get another guitar.
And a guitar just like it, though.
Yeah, and then
Clapton
maybe I
had
get
played.
3 guitars that that I
Yeah.
wanted, but because I don't care who played it, I just want to play it myself. I just want to make it sound, the sound. So anyway, so that's why this show is about guitars, guitar playing, and all things guitaristic. So how's it going downstairs there? Okay, yeah. Space Jam. Sorry. Yeah. I like steel string guitars a lot. I just haven't been playing them that much lately. My goal was to restring this. Mr. Bartender, sir, I'd buy you a bottle of water off you. This is a coffee house, by the way. You can't. Yeah. German water.
This is the operator of Tom's Uptown Bill's and
Yeah.
the coffee shop stepping on the camera.
Yeah. Here, I'll give you some. I'll give you that money. I'll give you some of this money. How about some of the money from the middle there? What if I gave you like a couple of dollars? One, two. There's a one in here. So, oh. Wow, man, I'm almost out of ones.
All right.
If I gave you $5, you could put the rest in the. Put the change in the. Put the change in the the jar.
Yeah, we don't care change.
Yeah, change comes from within. I got the cap in case I want to slam the whole thing. Yeah, thank you. This is we call him Young Tom.
Our host.
Our host. Yeah, he's the one with the apron on it. Oh, you got a new Pioneer Co-op apron.
It's in that very nice apron.
It's a very nice apron, but this
We
is.
didn't have any Bill's ones, and the ones that were here
Mhm.
need to be washed.
Oh yeah. No, you want to keep a clean apron, but I.
And they're friends of ours, and nice people, and we
Oh
shop
yeah.
there.
Well, I shop there. Yeah, we all shop there. I have a 4-digit number. Member number. I mean, some people have 3, but I have. But you have to be a real old timer to have I have a 4.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they're usually like 5 or 6 or something like that.
Got 5.
Yeah. Well, you hang around long enough, man, you become an old timer.
Yeah.
Or you could get a life, and like move someplace really happening.
Like Grandma used to say, you'll get old if you live long enough.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I'm getting older, but it's better than the alternative. So, Bob, do you have
Better
any?
Push the grass down than up.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Gravity. So, Bob, you have any words of wisdom you'd like to come up and share with us?
Well, I don't know how wise this is.
Well, you have to have some. This is supposed to be an educational program, so we're relying on you to.
Well, I better better stand up and face a camera, I guess. You probably noticed if you've been out in town, there are rented trucks and trailers all over town, furniture piling up on the curbs.
Yeah.
It's that time of year again.
The time when you get free furniture.
So the teacher asked Billy to use I in a sentence. Billy said, I is. She said, no, wait, Billy. You always say I am. I am the 9th letter of the alphabet.
Yeah.
School board in a little town sold the building that had been the one-room schoolhouse. The guy that bought it made it into a bar. The guy's walking by with his grandson says, when I was your age, that's where I went to school. The grandson said, who was your bartender then?
Yeah.
The teacher was explaining blood flow. Asked the class, if I stand on my head, the blood rushes to my head and my face turns red. Why don't my feet turn red when I stand up? One of the kids in class said, they're not empty. Guy walked into school. Said, I want to sign up for a night adult education class. I want to learn to read and write. Clerk said, okay, fill out this form.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
4 guys cut class one day. Next time they came to class, they told the teacher they'd had a flat tire. The instructor said, okay, but you missed a quiz you'll have to make up. Hands them all a piece of paper, says, which tire was flat? That's the first question.
Uh-huh.
Banker was arrested for embezzling $100,000 to pay off his daughter's student loans. The cop that was taking him away said, where'd you expect to get the rest of the money? When the buffalo's son went to college, the buffalo said, bye, son.
Yeah. Oh boy.
That's all the wisdom I have today.
That's probably good enough for now, there, Bob. I think. It's yeah, guitar music there. Yeah. Thanks. So I've been thinking about steel string guitar a little bit lately. I've been mostly playing electrics, and I've been thinking about bass guitar a lot too. And I'd like to do a whole show dedicated to bass guitars. But for those of you who don't know, Tal Fallow, I think is the name of a bassist, and Jeff Beck, who's an older fella, he's in his 70s now, and he's was a rocker, and he kind of became a jazz fusion guy. But he discovered Tal Fallow, who's a was 20 anyway, year old Australian guitar hot rod virtuoso, bass guitar, you know, and put her in the band with him, and she gets a lot of soloing, and she does a really good job of that kind of many different like funk bass, kind of like mixing and matching styles and so forth like that, and all over the place. The kind of bass player who can solo without losing the groove, which, if you know what I mean, if you're into bass. And I came to bass late in life. I didn't start till I was 12 with the string bass in the orchestra and the jazz band. But anyway, she's a bass guitar player. But it's interesting as a musician. But the other thing, people keep talking about the fact that she's a young woman, because you don't usually expect, you know, a young woman to be in that kind of, kind of jazz fusion type of band thing. But she's quite good, and there's no reason why not. But the other thing people talk, the interesting about her is she doesn't, she doesn't do herself up too much. You know, she has, long hair, but she doesn't like wear a whole lot of makeup or really fancy clothes, or doesn't try to play off of her, her 20-ish, womanliness like a lot of pop stars would. And she makes funny faces while she plays, and she doesn't mind making funny faces, like most of us do when we play stuff. Bass players usually do a thing with their chin, and when I play bass, I do a funny thing with my chin and make funny faces, and she does the same thing, and she doesn't, nobody's talked her out of it or anything like that. So I think that's kind of cool. It's just her musicianship, and not her, you think, well, Jeff Beck, he's like 70-something now, and he's an English rocker from the back in the day, kind of a competitor with Eric Clapton. But anyway, so I was watching some videos. I like to watch the YouTube. Perhaps somebody's out watching this show on YouTube, because tonight it'll be loaded up on YouTube. But anyway, I thought if you don't know about Jeff Beck, I think her name is Tal Fallow, Australian. I think she like left high school or something and went to Los Angeles to go to the BIT, the Bass Institute of Technology, and got through the program really fast because she's a real hot rod player. So anyway, I respect that. I mean, I respect good bass players, and there are a few of them around. I like Victor Wooten quite a bit. Took workshops from Jeff Berlin back in the day. I'm reminiscing, excuse me. But yeah, she's an up-and-coming bass player. So yeah, and of course Jeff Beck's a very interesting fellow. He's a kind of a fusion player. He got kind of tired of the rock thing and went into this started playing with John McLaughlin and turned into this jazz fusion guy. So if you see Jeff Beck, anything he's done lately, he's bass player is Tal Fallow. So it's worthwhile. Yeah. Like folk guitar. So yeah, we got things to do. So we got we got some performer. I don't know who you are. I've heard you were coming. Would you like to come up and tell people? Like I think you could probably. I think that microphone's okay, and you can tell people who you are and what you were doing. You're up next. I mean, I'm going to leave here in a little while.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Let's can we up that microphone so they can watch you on TV.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, shock.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm Nancita Warnett, and native Iowan, and been playing for 30-some years. And I must say, I have to say this to you. I'm in awe of your music. You are just a beautiful guitar player.
Just
so
a finger
thank you
picker.
so very much for this. This is awesome. So yeah, I'll be playing tonight from 7 to 9. All original music, parables and stories, and some Lakota flute. And
Okay.
I hope everybody comes out and enjoys it tonight. And thank you so much for your music today. This is awesome.
Well, thanks. And so it's Uptown Bills.
I'm Uptown Bills, Iowa City, Iowa. Everybody come on down.
If you're watching this live, it's tonight in a few minutes, very soon. I don't know what time it is, but it's Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Now, if you're watching this on Friday night, I'm sorry you missed it. Okay, because it's a rerun. If you're watching this, on YouTube in Turkey, like next year, then I'm sure you missed the whole thing, and you probably don't understand what I'm saying anyway. So forget it. Okay.
So I'll ask all my Iowa City friends to come on down right now. So it's my last show in town for a little while, and so I'd sure love to see some of your faces tonight. So thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Skopinski, do you have something for us? Well, give it a few minutes of poetry. Give us a few minutes. I don't know what time it is. It really is. They have the 15 more minutes instead of 10. Okay, well, give me just go to 5 or 8 or something minutes of poetry. Go ahead.
I'll be downstairs after the show doing some editing, so I'm going to keep my ears peeled for that Lakota flute playing. By the way, it smells pretty good in here. Are you baking something, Tom? It smells good. One of the nice reasons.
It smells like chocolate chip cookies. Is that
something like that?
Brownies?
Brownies. Wow. Okay. One of the
right.
many reasons to come to Uptown Bills. Last month, I think one of the poems that I had for July was by Robert Louis Stevenson from his Child's Garden of Verses. So I looked into more of those because I had a big golden book of those. Actually, it was my brother's. It was a hand-me-down from my older brother, but something from my own youth. And it was a great big book, and I loved the pictures in it, and I would get lost in it and stuff. So this kind of brings back nice memories of childhood. So, since we're in the middle of summer here, let's continue with our homage to summer. And this one's called Summer Sun by Robert Louis Stevenson from the Child's Garden of Verses. Great as the sun and wide he goes, through empty heaven with repose. And in the blue and glowing days, more thick than rain, he showers his rays. Though closer still the blinds we pull, to keep the shady parlor cool, yet he will find a chink or two to slip his golden fingers through. The dusty attic, spider-clad, he through the keyhole maketh glad, and though the broken edge of the tiles into the laddered hayloft smiles. Meantime his golden face around he bears to all the garden around, and sheds a warm and glittering look among the ivy's inmost nook. Above the hills, along the blue, round the bright ear with footing true, to please the child, to paint the rose, the gardener of the world he goes. And it does seem like this time of the year, the sun creeps in everywhere, especially in midday or high noon or even early in the evening. One of the other things that I really like about Child's Garden of Verses is the emphasis on a child who's getting lost in his or her immediate environment, which is one of the joys of being a child, how you can create a little empire, or this terrain becomes filled with whatever your imagination projects on it. I remember out if there was a big tractor or bulldozer had left its tire tracks in some mud, and then that dries up and it's like a terrain. You could set up a fort there, or trucks, and he captures a lot of these in his poems. And one of the more famous ones from that collection is called The Land of Counterpane Counterpane, I think, is an archaic term referencing kind of a bed quilt, particularly with a lot of patchwork in it. But and it's a perspective of a child sick in bed, and that empire, or that realm, I should say, of his bed with the covers all making tunnels and hills and everything. It's captured in this little poem. When I was sick and lay abed, I had 2 pillows at my head, and all my toys beside me lay to keep me happy all the day. And sometimes for an hour or so, I watched my leaden soldiers go with different uniforms and drills among the bedclothes through the hills, and sometimes sent my ships and fleets all up and down among the sheets, or brought my trees and houses out and planted cities all about. I was the giant, great and still, that sits upon the pillow hill and sees before him, dale and plain, the pleasant land of Counterpane. And then finally, when our hero here is recovered and is reconnoitering about the house again, to contrast from the sunny one, this is something he has been doing after dark in the shadows behind his parents' couch. And this is the land of storybooks. At evening, when the lamp is lit, around the fire my parents sit. They sit at home and talk and sing, and do not play at anything. Now, with my little gun, I crawl, all in the dark along the wall, and follow round the forest track, away behind the sofa back. There in the night, where none can spy, all in my hunter's camp I lie, and play at books that I have read, till it is time to go to bed. These are the hills, these are the woods, these are my starry solitudes, and there the river by whose brink the roaring lions come to drink. I see the others far away, as if in firelit camp they lay, and I, like to an Indian scout, around their party prowled about. So when my nurse comes in for me, home I return across the sea, and go to bed with backward looks at my dear land of storybooks. So give a child space, time, freedom, some books, and his or her imagination will keep him busy for hours.
Unless they have too much Pokemon, in which case so.
Then it's all out the window.
That's somebody else's imagination, but it's okay. And now I'm out of tune. How am I doing for time? Okay. It's okay, you're a closer. So, oh well. This weather's been too difficult for these guitars. Nobody wants to hear my personal problems, but I was going to try to restring this guitar before the show got started, and as I was talking about earlier on, we're trying to make it so it's easy, and we have wonderful like TV cable casts or YouTube or we live stream whatever from Uptown Bills. So we were fooling around worrying about the technology, and I had been agonizing over technology rather than guitars today. Well, I was agonizing over guitars earlier, but that's another story. So my strings here, I really haven't played this guitar much in the last few months, really. I mean, I've been playing other things. But it was so humid last week, I put a dehumidifier in my music room. There was an air conditioner in there, too, but it wasn't doing the job. So I got like a bucket of water out of the air in about a couple of hours. And all of a sudden, everything kind of changed. But these strings, I think they just got moist. So they're... Anyway, everything went out of tune. So anyway, one educational thing I want to tell everybody. So one thing you can do, if you play with your fingernails, I have these fake fingernails, I go and, is that if you use the back of your nail, these things I learned from frailing banjo or from I have a cuatro from Venezuela, for instance, and there's these little strummy things they use in Latin America, and then of course there's frailing banjos up in the mountains and stuff of the U.S. But if you use the back of your nail, you get a completely different sound than if if I strum with my nail going this way, like, if I use the back of my nail, I get this texture. Instead of, there's so many different sounds you can make by just the angle that you strike a string with and what you strike it with. If I use the soft part of my thumb, use my hard thumb, it's like a pick. If I use a downstroke with my fingers, if I use my fingers at an angle, I get texture. How am I doing for time now? A little over a minute. Well, I'll do the Tom's Guitar Show theme, so I'll be back here next month, and I'll be downstairs on PATV every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. I'll be on YouTube later on in the night, and Tom's Guitar Show has been going on for a while now, 21, 22 years. You think I'd have a life by now, but no, man, I just keep doing Tom's Guitar Show. So.